Well, good evening, everyone, and hello, Washington. Welcome to our telerally with our very special guests, President Donald J. Trump and candidate for Congress, Jerrod Sessler. My name is Sherry, and I will be our moderator for today's event. And at the conclusion of President Trump's remarks, we will be asking you two special poll questions, so we would love to have you stay on the line with us throughout the entire telerally. It is now my great pleasure to introduce to you our next Congressman for Washington, Jerrod Sessler.
Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate it. Welcome, everyone. I understand we have tens of thousands of people on here, so that's great. Running for Congress here in central Washington against the incumbent, Dan Newhouse. This is a very important race for President Trump, and it's an important race for our beautiful state. Newhouse voted to impeach President Trump and for the January 6th commission, but that isn't the main reason we need to retire Newhouse. President Trump is going to win on Tuesday, and he deserves a congressman and a Congress that will fully support his agenda and make America great. Dan Newhouse also supports amnesty for invaders. He has aligned himself with radical Democrat values in his votes, and now he needs their help in order to win this election. He took a walk on July 12th from the Appropriations Committee when they were voting to defund and target the targeted political attacks on President Trump. And he took a walk during that. He could have. He's a traitor. He's also a liar. He spread endless lies about me since we beat him badly in the August primary. Bottom line is Dan Newhouse does not represent us, and he will betray President Trump again, and we cannot let that happen. I'll tell you a little bit more about myself in a few minutes, but for now I want to recall the video of Elon Musk's 20-story tall super heavy rocket falling through the sky until that very last moment when the rockets kicked in and stopped it from crashing. America is in a free fall right now, and we need to elect President Trump to kick in those rocket engines to save our country. President Trump's traveling today, and he's taken a few minutes with us. It's a credible honor for me and a great pleasure for me to introduce our favorite president, the 45th president, and soon to be the 47th president of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump. Welcome, President Trump.
Well, thank you very much, Jerrod. It's an honor to do it, and we're going to have a big success. And hello, Washington. I have so many friends in the great state of Washington, or Washington State. Any way you want to say it. We say it lots of different ways, but it's the same great place. It's an incredible place, getting a little more conservative every year. And I think it's finally realizing that it's got to be that way because they've had some problems out there that they wouldn't have with more conservative values. But we're 5 days away from the most important election in the history of our country. And it's very important for me to have your vote, but it's also very important for me to get you to vote for Jerrod Sessler, who's a fantastic young guy. He's a great person. He's going to be a phenomenal congressman for Washington's 4th congressional district. So I'm out here campaigning. I'm doing 2 or 3 or 4 speeches a day. I'm doing 2 or 3 rallies a day sometimes. That's the bigger version of the speech. And I still want to do this because it's so important to me. We have a man who's known as Dan Newhouse. He's playing dirty pool because he's saying that Jerrod, who's a big tax cutter and somebody that wants to see taxes come down, not go up. And he just made the statement that Jerrod's going to raise your taxes by 30% or 35%. And it was just made up out of clear blue. It's just like Kamala saying that Trump is going to not drill for oil. He doesn't want to drill for oil. He doesn't want to drill for liquid gold. He doesn't want to frack. You know, I have the same kind of a thing that Jerrod has, and we have to make it known. No, Dan Newhouse is lying about that, and I've known Jerrod for a long time, and I've known his policies for a long time, and I wouldn't be making this call if I thought he was going to do anything with taxes. He's a Navy veteran, a tremendous hero. He's an entrepreneur, a father, a husband, and a true America First patriot who will fight as long as you have to fight. This is a warrior, and he's going to seal the border. We're going to work out, and we're going to, I just hope that you understand what's happening at our once very, very safe border. We had the safest border in the history of our country just 4 years ago, and now we have probably the worst border in the history of the world. We have murderers pouring in. We had 625,000 criminals come in over a 3-year period. They let them in through open borders, but of them, 13,000 plus were murderers, drug dealers, prisons. They're emptying out prisons from all over the world, not just South America, from the Congo and Africa. They're coming out tremendous numbers from Africa, tremendous numbers from the Middle East, tremendous numbers from Asia, and they're pouring in, of course, South America, but they're pouring into our country. And the number is at least 21 million. Is probably much more than that. We're going to close the borders, and we want people to come in, but they have to come in legally. So we're going to strongly close the borders, and we're going to do it. Dan Newhouse doesn't want to do that. Dan Newhouse is really a liberal when you think of it. I guess most would call him a rhino. I'd say he's far left of a rhino. But as your Congressman Newhouse has rubber stamped trillions of dollars for Kamala's reckless spending bills or open borders and everything else that they've wanted. He's been one of the people that voted on that stuff. And what's happening is a disaster to our country. So we have to get rid of Dan Newhouse. And by the way, just in case you don't know, he's one of the few that on nothing, on nonsense, voted to impeach me. And that's the story. That's enough. There's nothing else he can do that would be worse than that. He wanted to see me convicted of and impeached and everything else. And for no reason, I didn't know him well, but everything I did was right. And it turned out, as you know, I got almost a unanimous acquittal on that. But he was not good. He was bad. He was bad. So I just want to see Jerrod Sessler get in, and he's going to be fantastic. We're going to work to seal the border, stop the invasion of criminals at a level that we've never seen before coming into our country, and begin the largest deportation of these criminals in American history. We're going to end inflation and make America affordable again. We're going to make America the dominant energy producer in the world as we were 4 years ago. Remember, 4 years ago we were energy independent, but we're going to be dominant very shortly and make a lot of money and pay down debt, etc. Also go for additional tax cuts. We're going to give large tax cuts to our workers, but also no tax on tips, no tax on, and very important, no tax on overtime. It's a big deal. And no tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors. And I'll always protect Medicare and Social Security at a level that nobody else would do it. We're going to cancel the electric vehicle mandate and cut regulations at a level that we were doing before. I was 5 times more than any other president in the cutting of regulations. We had the greatest economy, the best economy that we've ever had in the history of our country. We're going to prevent World War III, and we're very close to World War III, and I'm going to restore peace through strength. As you know, I started no wars. First time in 82 years that's happened. I started no wars other than I finished off ISIS in record time. People couldn't believe it. We're going to crush violent crime and support our great police. We're going to strengthen and modernize our military. I rebuilt our military, but as you know, a lot of our military went to Afghanistan because we had stupid people in there like General Milley and others that didn't know what the hell they were doing. And we're going to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory or radical gender ideology. And, of course, we're going to do what obviously we should do, keep men out of women's sports. So that's what we're going to do, but we have to get out and vote. We have to vote for Jerrod Sessler. We have to vote for a man named Donald J. Trump. And I will not let you down, and Jerrod will not let you down. And we appreciate it. There are thousands of people on this call. It's an honor to speak to you. And I have, again, so many friends in your state, and we're going to make it really great, and we're going to make America great again. So with that, Jerrod, please take over, and good luck in the race. And I am sure you wish me luck in the race, too, but we would both love to have Washington's vote, and we will not disappoint. You'll look back, and you'll say this is one of the best votes, 2 votes we've ever given. Thank you very much, everybody, and Jerrod, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. President. You absolutely have my endorsement. It's a tremendous honor to get a few minutes with you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I want to take a couple minutes to tell you about myself. I know that you've been getting pounded with ads that are telling all sorts of lies about me, so I don't blame you for having questions. Hopefully being one of the few that's endorsed by President Trump is enough for most of you to know what my desires are for America. Like President Trump, I've spent many years in business, and like J.D. Vance and many of you, I had a rough childhood, but by God's grace, I've lived the American dream. And as President Trump just mentioned, I'm a Navy veteran, an engineer, a job creator, a rancher, a husband, which, by the way, Nikki and I are celebrating our 28th anniversary tomorrow, November 1st. I'm a father of 3 now grown homeschooled kids, and I'm a Christian. I live in Prosser, which seemed like a world away from Pasco when I was a little kid. I'm a Republican candidate for Congress who is finally going to unseat Dan Newhouse. I'll give you a couple minutes to cheer about that. I am proud to endorse President Trump and to be endorsed by President Trump, along with the Washington State Republican Party, counties across the district, the House Freedom Caucus, and other American heroes like Kash Patel and General Michael Flynn. And I've got a question for you. Do you believe that our elected officials in Washington, D.C. share your values and are fighting for what matters to you? Go ahead and raise your hand right now if so. I can't see you, but I doubt that any of you raised your hand. That response is exactly why I'm here. We are one of the most conservative pro-Trump and Republican districts in the country. We should elect the conservative we deserve. Dan Newhouse's voting record proves he's not a conservative. He voted for every omnibus spending bill that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris demanded. He voted to send hundreds of billions of tax dollars to defend other countries' borders while our nation is being invaded. Encouraged by his own vote for mass amnesty, he voted to give billions of tax dollars to Planned Parenthood, the nation's largest abortion provider. He's done nothing, nor has he ever mentioned the mail-order abortion crisis. And he was the deciding vote in favor of the warrantless surveillance of U.S. citizens. And as he runs for Congress against me now, he's trying to win not by attracting Republican voters based on his resume, but by dragging my good name through the mud and bragging to Democrats about how moderate he is and begging them for their votes. So he isn't a conservative, he isn't pro-Trump, and he isn't really a Republican. But there's something else that he actually is. When he got to Congress, he was worth less than $2 million. Now he's worth $20 million or more, depending on the report you read. Part of his success comes from his stock trades. He's made over 30 trades in the last year and 92 since he's been in Congress. The companies he's trading are the ones that he votes to give billions of your tax dollars to, and those companies are making corporate PAC and super PAC donations to his campaign. Who do you think is funding those grievous lies, including his attack ads against me now? The same corporations that have enriched him. So what he is he's corrupt. And he doesn't care about this congressional district that he represents, and America deserves better. Here's my promise to you as one of the most pro-constitutional conservatives in Congress. I will be the best ally that President Trump has in Washington, D.C. I'll close with this. I'm not foolish enough to think that I alone can change D.C. or drain the swamp, or that we can fix all our many problems overnight. But remember, at the beginning, I asked the question, if you believe that elected officials in D.C. share your values and are fighting for what matters to you, so I ask you to raise your hand. If I'm elected, I want you to be able to raise your hand when asked that question, because you'll know at least one person there is truly representing you. I'll be a member of Congress you'll be proud of, not embarrassed by. I'm Jerrod Sessler, and I'll be honored to have your vote. And I can tell you how grateful I am to have your financial support. I cannot tell you how grateful I am to have your financial support. If you're excited about seeing positive changes in our government, then please make a donation as soon as you get off of this call. It is obvious that Dan Newhouse has endless money from all of his special interest groups that are lying about me and helping him keep his seat. My question to you and to him is, why is he not running on his record instead of running on bashing and lying about me? Thank you for being here tonight. God bless you. I've got some time to talk to the president before the call. I'm going to be jumping on the Lumberjack Logic show on YouTube next. So search Lumberjack Logic on YouTube once you finish the 2 polling questions that Sherry has for you now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jerrod, for being with us tonight. We're grateful that you've spent the time and the opportunity to speak to everybody today. And a thank you to President Trump for a wonderful message and his support for Jerrod. So next, it's time for our poll questions. For our listeners, we would love to hear from you. We're glad that you're on the line with us. So here's an opportunity. You can use your phone's keypad to answer the first poll question. The first poll question for you is, can President Trump count on your vote for Jerrod Sessler for Congress? Press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, and press 3 if you're undecided. I'll repeat the question so you can prepare to use your phone's keypad to answer it. Can President Trump count on your vote for Jerrod Sessler for Congress? Press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, and press 3 if you're undecided. Thanks so much. I can see the answers are coming in fast for that poll question, so we appreciate that. So we'll keep it open for just another second, and you can get your answer in still. And then our second question for you is about returning your ballot. So President Trump and Jerrod both mentioned the importance of voting. So our question for you is, have you returned your ballot? Press 1 for yes, press 2 for no. Again, the second poll question for you is, have you returned your ballot? Press 1 for yes, press 2 for no. Thanks so much for everybody. I can see the participation in that question too. So next we invite you to check out Jerrod's website. His website is jerrodforcongress.com. It's Jerrod forcongress.com. Go to Jerrod for Congress to learn more about him. Jerrod is a leader that we can rely on, and he will protect us and fulfill the American dream and be a voice for our futures. And Jerrod Sessler is Trump endorsed. So remember to return your ballot, vote for Jerrod Sessler and Donald J. Trump. And we thank you so much again for joining us on our telerally. We hope you have a nice evening. This call was paid for by Jerrod Sessler for Congress, 509-361-2621. This will conclude tonight's telerally. Thank you so much. Have a great evening, Washington.